A monster created to become the ultimate life form. He endures death only to resurrect and evolve. A fearless brute, Doomsday destroys simply because he can. Doomsday is a melee bruiser who controls the front line of battle, slamming foes against the walls and into the air with ease. His passive is Revenge. When Doomsday dies, if he dies, his killer becomes marked. Basic attacks from marked targets do less damage to Doomsday, and his basic attacks in turn do more damage to the target. Pummeling Assault is Doomsday's Q. You can press Q 3 times in succession, and each time Doomsday will slam the ground in front of him, dealing attack damage in a small ring. On the third press, all enemies in the damage ring will be knocked into the air. Berserk is Doomsday's W ability. Berserk passively increases Doomsday's attack speed. Activating Berserk fills Doomsday with fury and awards him bonus attack defense and movement speed. Doomsday's E ability is Charge, and it does exactly what you think it would do. Doomsday makes a beeline at a target opponent, charges, slams them backwards, then hurls his target to the pavement. If the target hits a wall, then they take bonus damage and are knocked down longer. Kryptonian Rage is Doomsday's ultimate, and in exchange for Fury provides bonus attack damage, resilience, health regeneration, and attack damage reflection. The ultimate can be toggled on and off, draining Fury slowly whenever it is on, and if you have no Fury, then no Rage for you. You may have noticed that Doomsday is fueled by a resource we call Fury. Fury is accrued every time Doomsday hits with a basic attack, is struck by a basic attack, charges, or goes berserk. Your objective in fights is to protect the weaker members of your team. Squishy Blaster is about to die, charge at their attacker and pummel them into the air for the save. You don't need to slam out every Pummeling Assault charge at once. Use it twice, charge someone, then use the last charge for the guaranteed knockup. If you aren't playing as Doomsday but have him on your team, let him take creep waves if you see he is low on Fury. He needs it to be an effective tank. When building artifacts, you should focus on buying health, cooldown reduction, and more health. The occasional attack and power defense artifact is good, and with enough attack damage, Doomsday shines in the offensive bruiser role. Stolen powers like super speed help close the gap when Berserk isn't enough, and use Consume Matter to stay in fights even longer. Doomsday is an amazing bruiser, can save the day despite being a villain, and is a solid character for gamers of all skill levels. A watchful guardian equipped with sonic weaponry, Gaslight Batman seeks brutal justice on the battlefield. Gaslight Batman uses quick mobility and ranged damage to outmaneuver his opponents as a ranged hybrid damage marksman. His passive is Echoes, reducing enemies' attack defense with every auto attack, revealing them through Fog of War, and dealing bonus damage with his other abilities. Sonic Batarang throws a projectile that bounces from the first target hit to nearby targets, prioritizing targets debuffed with Echoes. Sonic Shell lobs a concussion grenade, and the ability can be activated again while the projectile is in the air to immediately explode. Enemies hit will be slowed and have echoes applied to them. Batflight is your repositioning tool, as you fire a grappling hook to swing in or out of combat at a fixed distance, dealing power damage to all enemies you pass through. Gaslight Batman's ultimate ability is Bat Scream. After a short charge time, a massive sonic blast is unleashed that flies across the entire map, damaging all opponents hit and dealing reduced damage by each hit. Highly skilled and dependent on superior tactics to beat his enemies, Gaslight Batman has the perfect mix of damage and kiting potential to be a hybrid ranged marksman. Always look for free damage, constantly attacking your opponents while repositioning and using both Sonic Shell and Batflight to never let anyone touch you. If an opponent ever uses a gap closer and is fighting you in melee range, immediately use Sonic Shell or Batflight to escape to your attack range and continue to kite. With a dominant laning phase, you can safely farm and pressure your opponents while still having Batflight to easily escape any ganks. In teamfights, your strength is sustained damage, so you need to be constantly attacking your opponents and you'll quickly tear through their lines. Just be wary of who on the opposing team has high burst or disable ultimates on cooldown, so you can play defensively and avoid them. Lead off a fight with Bat Scream to weaken the entire enemy team and proceed to clean up as a team. When going head-to-head with high burst heroes, try to dodge their strongest abilities, and then re-engage while they have abilities on cooldown and you will easily win every 1v1. Usually, you'll want to hold your Batflight as much as possible since you're considerably weaker when it's on cooldown, but in small fights, it can be worth it to use Batflight to dive in to finish off a kill and then retreat. For items, the priority is attack damage with lifesteal and critical strikes so that you can quickly take down your opponents with your basic attacks when positioned appropriately. Alternatively, building power damage and cooldown reduction allows Gaslight Batman to focus on using Sonic Shell and Batarang as his main damage sources. Super Speed is a must-have as a stolen power to prioritize repositioning in fights, while dropping a mine helps to zone opponents so you can focus them with your superior range damage. Sonically locate your opponents and teach them to fear the night with Gaslight Batman.